The Dark One, yeah. So he became the Dark One to save his son, and eventually was overtaken by the darkness. Then his son got stranded, like estranged from him, by going through the portal to the land without magic. Rumpel was too much of a coward to go through, so he ended up being separated from him, and he's unable to travel between realms, which again
Which is consistent with
was
him.
the entire premise of the show, despite the fact that the show introduces multiple different ways that you can travel between realms, like throughout the seasons, that he had easy access to. Like the instant example I can think of is the giants live in the, from Jack and the Beanstalk. They live like in the clouds, but like you can access their kingdom by going up beanstalks or whatever. And they harvest magic beans, which are what Balefire used to go to this land without magic.
That's their job.
That's
That's
their
what they
job,
do.
and they existed as late in the timeline as like when Prince Charming's evil twin brother was the prince and was hanging around. So for a couple centuries at least, and at no point in that time did Rumpel ever try to go there and like steal a magic bean.
No, no, no.
Um,
Remember, sheep. Remember, sheep. Context for this: the giants, like, whole thing is to grow magic beans, but they don't trade them with humans anymore because humans are evil. But
yeah, but
once,
they didn't start doing that
uh,
until Prince
but,
Charming's
but
brother fucking destroyed
no,
everything.
no, that was after because when the humans invaded the castle,
No, you're right.
they
You're right. You're
the
right.
giants burned all of the beans and salted the soil.
Yeah,
So
making it so that you couldn't harvest anymore. But like there was still a 200-year period there where
yes.
Rumpel could have snuck in, if nothing else, and taken a bean. But that's just one of many examples of ways to like travel
Oh,
between
I think
realms.
Rumple knew that they weren't any
But
there.
there were for like until Prince Charming's evil twin came along and fucked over the giants. They were still growing beans. They
You
existed
know that
aplenty. Yes, we
that
did.
is
That's
true.
literally said in the fucking
However,
episode.
no, okay, but remember this. No one knew of the existence of the giants until one of them went into the land and
You're
and
gonna tell
met
me
Prince
that
Charming's brother, which is.
Rumpelstiltskin didn't know about the giants? He knew about fucking everything. Everything that went
But I
on in the
mean,
Enchanted Forest world, he knew about. Come on.
didn't but like the giants say, oh, we haven't traded with humans for like thousands of years.
Did they say
So
thousands of years? I don't think they said
I
thousands of
think they
years.
say,
And
I
that's
think they
beside
say
the
it's been like
point
a lot.
because, like, again, there were multiple other examples of ways to travel between realms
That
without
is
invoking a
true.
dark curse. The point being, they introduced a lot of ways to do it, which made it pretty weird that Rumpel never did at any point, despite the fact that that was his whole goal.
Wasn't Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a point where he had the chance but could? No, no, there was like a bean and he cut off Hook's hand, but it wasn't the
Yeah,
other hand.
he. That's how Hook lost his hand. Yeah, it was like they were in a fight and Hook had a bean. He had it. Supposedly he had it in his what was it? His left hand.
One
But
hand, and then he cut
and
it, but
that's
it
what
wasn't the
Rumpel
other.
cut off. But he actually had it in his sword hand, so his right hand. So Rumpel was
Also, he
pissed.
did this
And
after
then
killing his
and
own
then
wife.
and then Hook used that bean to go to Neverland. Because Rumpel had killed the woman that he loved, Mila, his ex-wife, and so Hook became obsessed with revenge and wanted to figure out a way to kill the Dark One, but knew that like he wouldn't, like if he wasn't basically immortal, he wouldn't be able. It's kind of stupid. It's kind of like
I'm
hugely
surprised you
contrived.
remember Mila's name.
Oh yeah, Mila. I've seen the show. I've watched it a few different times. I was a huge fan.
I know, but like, I couldn't be bothered to remember her name.
Okay, well, but anyway, we were explaining the Dark One. So basically, at like the
Oh
end of
yeah,
season 4, his heart, because he'd been the Dark One for so long, became so corrupted by evil that it just started killing him. And then the darkness like left him and went back to the, or like ended up overtaking Emma, and she became the Dark One, and it took her
okay.
back to the Enchanted Forest.
I'll
So
take
like
it from here,
Venom
Sheev.
from
I'll take
Spider-Man
it from here,
comics.
Sheev,
Okay,
because this is the part I wanted to explain.
okay.
So the Dark One, the origin of the Dark One is actually, and it's actually Excalibur. Like
What?
Merlin. So Merlin was just some slave guy who ran away, and in the desert, he found the Holy Grail just lying there,
He drank
Fuck.
from the
and he
cup of
drank
life,
it.
and it gave him powers.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So
So Indiana
he
Jones getting
was
roped into this, huh?
so the
Basically,
same way the same way the Dark One is bound to the dagger, Merlin is bound to Excalibur. But why? Because the dagger is the tip of Excalibur, which was broken.
Yep.
So when it was broken, the Dark One was created. So
the original Dark One was
Emma.
Nimue, by the way.
Yeah. So when the darkness left Rumpelstiltskin, it went into Emma. For just because like she was there, it went into her. It doesn't really matter how. She's just a casualty. So she, as the evil person, which by the way, it was. Is it established that being the Dark One makes you evil, or is it just like
it like corrupts
Rumple
your
became
heart slowly? So like Emma,
but is it like
Emma
like,
throughout the season is constantly being tempted by darkness, and every time she uses her power,
no. She becomes evil like immediately.
No, she doesn't.
Like,
she like for a long. They get to the Enchanted
there's
Forest,
a time skip.
and there's a time skip. Yeah. And we actually don't see what happens because most of the Camelot storyline takes place in flashbacks. But like the present day storyline is after she's been fully corrupted, and she enacted yet another dark curse. Yeah, this would be like the fourth one on the show.
Fuck, give me a break.
But there was a long time while they were in Camelot where she was trying to resist the darkness.
Yes.
But you want to continue?
Yes. She was trying to resist the darkness. And there was a point in which she met Merlin, and she killed him.
Yep.
Oh,
damn!
She killed him.
Merlin's just
now,
dead. So well.
That's kind of sad. I actually really like Merlin.
Now she has Excalibur, and the dagger. So she fuses them. But she she doesn't have Excalibur, because when she does the curse, Excalibur is somehow in the stone again in Storybrooke. So she kidnaps Rumple because since his heart was cleansed, he's like a blank slate now.
Well, are you forgetting about what happens to Hook in Camelot?
He dies, doesn't he?
He dies, and she
Emma
basically makes him the Dark One also. They're both the Dark One now somehow.
So she is the Dark One she has the Merlin powers, but she is still the Dark One. And Hook has like the Rumpelstiltskin Dark One powers.
Yeah.
But Emma doesn't have Excalibur. She wants it. So when they're back in Storybrooke after the curse, she kidnaps Rumple since his heart was cleansed, so he's a blank slate, and she says, "I'm gonna turn you into a hero." So what she does to turn him into a hero is she brings. I'm skipping a lot of things, okay? Yeah. But she brings Belle to Rumple, like to the cell he's trapped in, and like threatens her life. So Rumple, trying to defend her, takes Excalibur out of the stone. It's like, oh fuck it, I have Excalibur now. So she just gets Excalibur, and then that's when Hook finds out that he's the Dark One because the dagger says his name, and then they fuse they fuse the dagger and Excalibur back together. And I don't remember what happened. Like, so did Hook kill himself?
They basically do a ritual that causes all the previous Dark Ones from all the past time to like come back to life, and they're like invading Storybrooke. And
that's true.
In order to stop it, they have to like, I can't remember exactly, but like they have to basically do like a sacrifice where Hook ends up killing himself with Excalibur.
What?
Yes, and that's supposed to like get rid of the Dark One powers for good. But Rumple,
it actually would have succeeded, but Rumpelstiltskin's bitch ass,
being the slimy motherfucker that he is, says, "No, I want my powers back," and somehow like gets all the powers of all the Dark Ones back into the dagger. So he's like the turbo super duper Dark One now.
Yeah, he's way more powerful than ever before.
Yes. Which doesn't really play in any way whatsoever. It's just the dagger is darker now.
You essentially wouldn't know the difference because he's still just basically the Dark One, like the way we've always known him to be.
Also, Excalibur is gone.
Yeah, Excalibur is destroyed. But that causes Hook
just
to
the dagger
die.
Again?
That causes Hook to die and then enact the underworld plot that I already talked about.
Yes.
Yeah, and I vaguely remember the Camelot story, but guess who else that's traditionally a good character? Guess who else is evil? King Arthur. They made him evil in this show.
Why?
Didn't they make him just like a liar because he doesn't tell the people that Excalibur is broken?
Well, yeah, he's a liar, but also he continues to do
A broken sword
evil
for the
things.
broken.
He
kingdom.
continues to do evil things in order to keep the secret from getting out that Excalibur is incomplete. Basically, he, is destined to pull the sword from the stone in order to restore the broken kingdom. But whenever he does, there's only half the sword because the rest of it is the Dark One dagger. So he realizes,
it's not
I
half of
can't.
it. It's just like the tip.
He's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The tip is missing, so it's an incomplete sword. And he realizes I can't take this incomplete sword back to Camelot. No one will take me seriously. So he has to pretend that Excalibur is whole. And that's basically his whole thing throughout that part of the season is every time it becomes obvious to the heroes that he's not who he says he is, he basically fucks them over.
Didn't
and then he
David
dies at the end.
Become a knight of the Round Table?
I don't know.
For a period of time.
Lancelot was on the show long before they ever did the Camelot storyline. Lancelot was just friends with Snow and Prince Charming.
I don't mind that. I think that's
And then he basically was like, "Oh hey," when they got to Camelot, he was like, "Hey guys, by the way, watch your back with King Arthur. He's not who you think he is." And it's like, "Oh shit, okay."
Didn't Lancelot die?
Yeah, I think he died.
Didn't he die before the events of the storybook thing?
Yeah, but then he was back for some reason. I can't really remember.
No, he was a fake. He was when they go back to the Enchanted Forest by mistake. They found when Mulan is there, they find Lancelot, but he's just a puppet, or an illusion made by Regina's mom. Also, the scene. You want to guess one of the characters which at some point got a hold of Rumpelstiltskin's dagger, therefore being able to control him? Anna.
What?
From Frozen.
What?
Well, she immediately gave it back to him because she doesn't want to enslave a person. But she did end up getting control over the most powerful being in the world for a bit.
So you can tell the Disney corporate executives were saying, "All right, we need to cross-promote Frozen more."
Yeah.
I think this was
Frozen
2016.
arc and the Frozen arc and the Camelot arc are the ones that I remember the least about.
That sounds
I
so stupid.
The Frozen arc had Elsa's aunt wanting Emma to he wanted to get Emma's power or something, and also guess who had some involvement with the villain in this show, helping her.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Our good boy Rumple.
This is the first time after he was resurrected that he just started being an evil piece of shit again, and it was what the fuck? He had a whole redemption arc, he had a great character send-off, and he died, and then he comes back, and he just wasn't utilized well since.
Okay, so the way he comes back...
Are we going to talk about the Wicked Witch of the West?
Yes, we're going to talk about...
fucking God.
I'm telling you, the show's got
I think I had a brain
aneurysm.
So he's the one... So in the end of the second season, he's the one to kill Peter Pan.
No, it's halfway through the third season.
Oh, really?
I'm telling you,
he's
I
the one
fucking
to kill
remember
Peter
this
Pan.
show. He kills Peter Pan. And it's a really great moment. It's a self-sacrificial moment for a character who is his main character trait is I am a coward. The only reason he has his powers and exudes his confidence is because he's a fucking coward.
He has the power.
That is a main characteristic of him. So the fact that he sacrifices himself against the person who wronged him the most deeply to save the people that he loves is a great way to send off his character and round out his redemption arc. And then they fucking bring him back 2 episodes later.
In this next season, they bring him back. How? Oh, it's a good question that you didn't ask. I'm telling you anyway. So they go back to the Enchanted Forest after that. I don't remember. I think that they are just back in the Enchanted Forest and they don't know why.
No, they do. Peter Pan cast a curse on Storybrooke and sent them.
Oh, that's true.
And the curse was going to be I'm your overlord basically, and we live in Storybrooke. But then after they killed Pan, the curse was still coming, and Regina had to alter it. That basically sent them back to the Enchanted Forest.
Yes. Okay. So,
but because of the caveat that you have to give up the thing you love most. That thing being Henry, her adoptive son, she sent him away with Emma out into the real world and was separated
Oh,
from
and
him,
they
which was
forget
which
everything.
counted as like a sacrifice of the thing you love most.
They alter their memories in order to make them both think that they have been like a family, like
Uh-huh.
forever. Which makes me think, was this planned to be the finale of the show? Because
It really
it
does
may as well
serve
have been.
as a finale, but like there was a cliffhanger ending, like right at the end. That
Yes, that is true. That is true. That is true. They should may just like make a movie to like tie up the loose ends
But
and
like
be done with it.
honestly, it could have been I actually would have accepted that as the finale because like again, that was the episode that
In
completed
retrospective.
Rumpelstiltskin's best like his character arc. It rounded it out perfectly and he died. It capped off all the storylines. It tied up everything in a neat little bow. That could have been it,
Yes.
and I would have been fine with that. But then they continued the
Also,
show.
so when they're back in the Enchanted Forest, Neil, Rumple's son, is like, he's the Dark One, so rules usually don't apply to him as they do to us. So maybe there's a way to bring him back. And there is. Caveat being, to bring back the Dark One, you need to offer your body as a sacrifice. So that's what they do. But when they go back, to Storybrooke, they are like switching places all the time. So sometimes it's Neil, sometimes Rumple. So he just basically Neil dies
Well,
and
so
Rumple's back.
I don't think you're explaining it well. Basically, he and his son merge into one being.
Yes, into one body.
Yeah, and like
Yes.
sometimes Neil is the person in control. Sometimes Rumple is the one who's in control.
It does change their appearance. So they
Yeah.
look like themselves.
Yeah, but then
But
eventually
this
Rumple's
places
son
it
they
into.
separate, and then Rumple's son dies, and then Rumple gets to continue being the one that's alive, and it's bullshit because he again had a
Yes.
great send off, and Neil was a good character who I would have loved to see more.
He does have a cool cameo when they go to the underworld.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Emma, I'm dead, but I like it here. So yeah, be happy. Go fuck that pirate.
Well,
Well,
I mean, fair. Pirates are cool.
yeah. I really like Captain Hook. Like I actually do think he's a good character. Because
Yeah.
again, like the strong suit of this show is that it has pretty good character work for the most part.
One thing that is funny is that the show has, in reality, it has like two villains, like in the whole flashbacks. Because Regina in the flashbacks, when she's evil, she's Ariel's villain. She's David's villain. She's Noah's villain. She's the villain of everyone. And Rumple.
Well,
Rumple isn't really.
the show doubles up on like characters being the same person, like different fairy tale characters merging into one. They do that a lot. Like you might have heard Daigon continues mentioning Belle, like Rumple's love interest. That's because
Yes.
he's the Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, he's the
Wait,
beast.
what?
He is the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. He's Rumpelstiltskin, and he's the crocodile from Peter Pan. He
Okay,
like triples
excuse me.
up.
How does that work?
What?
So it's the whole
That
crocodile.
makes no sense.
The whole crocodile thing is more figurative because he's like when he's evil, he's got like scales and he's all green. So
I mean, he's more so brown.
so like he's not literally
my God.
he's not literally a crocodile, but he is basically like the villain of Hook's life, and he looks like a
Professor!
crocodile, so Hook refers to him as the crocodile.
Yeah, boy.
That's
That's
still
how they do that.
bullshit.
Yeah, it is kind of bullshit, but it's funny.
I mean, you know,
Oh, they double
No.
up with
Also,
with Little Red Riding Hood and Peter and the Wolf, where they do this thing where Red Riding Hood is actually a werewolf.
and
Well,
she's a
what?
lesbian.
Well, yeah, she's a lesbian, but I don't know how that's relevant.
She
to what
gets
I
with
was
Dorothy.
Yeah, that's not
She gets
relevant
with
at all.
Dorothy.
Yeah.
It's relevant because she gets with Dorothy, which is like
See,
I don't know
let them
why.
escape.
the combination of Little Red Riding Hood and Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz is one of those things like, hey, you know that in this show this happens.
Oh, but yeah, we were talking about that. Reminds me, we were talking about the Wicked Witch of the West and how she basically gets control of Rumple for like half a season. She's the villain for like the final arc of season 3, and she is the evil queen's long lost estranged sister. So add her to the family tree as well.
And she's green because she is
You can
very
also add
jealous.
Hades to the family tree because he and the Wicked Witch of the West like hook up for a bit.
Okay,
Oh
you know
my
what?
god, that is true. How do you make Hades not memorable? Because I didn't remember him.
I actually like Hades in the show. I think he's pretty cool.
I don't even remember what he looks
He
like.
kind of became a simp toward the end of the season because like with Wicked Witch, but like I don't know. I like him.
This whole show sounds like a whole big funded fan fiction.
It is.
This
Kind
sounds
of
like a
is.
fucking Wattpad fan fiction. It sounds
Yeah.
terrible.
And it's really great.
I wouldn't be surprised if this show was kind of dictated by some studio. Like, we have this right, so we're gonna do it.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, it's a Disney. It's on ABC. It's a Disney show. They're using Disney characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
I
more
mean,
we
it's
talk
not-
about this, the more I really want to do a video on it.
Yes, do it. No, also,
Do it.
there's so much. There's this, you know. So Rumble
Do it so you
kills
can
the
do the
Wicked Witch
watch
to the
party.
west.
One at a time,
Rumble
please.
kills the. Okay. Go ahead.
Can we like change the topic though? I'm kind of getting bored of this show.
Oh,
I mean, sure. It's just very fun to
well, I'll
talk
stop
about.
recording then.
But you're
Um,
recording?
You post that anywhere?